Becoming Jane is a fantastic view of how Jane Austen pretty much had to establish herself in society back in the times where marriage was sometimes forced upon the women, giving that they had no money and had no rights to vote or speak or any of that great stuff. Um, Men having more power, and this is what the era, falling from the era where girls were once killed, and if it wasn't a girl, they lack importance, they lack power. um, we come from a long generation of era of times where girls was less valued, um, girls was less important, less cared for, uh, voiceless. But it seems the times have really changed, really evolved since then. But this shows her struggle for love, her struggles to get the things she wants while pursuing her vision as a novelist, becoming a writer. She is refusing to marry someone she doesn't want to marry. And, you know, back then, when you were penniless, um, she comes from a family that has some quality money, where the man that she loves or is in love with is penniless, quite penniless, given that he takes care of all his siblings. He has no money. Her family is entirely against it. He eventually is forced to marry someone else. He has an engagement which eventually will soon tear them apart. Um, Him becoming married and the opportunity to be together simply devours over a period of time. Her never becoming married and always remaining single, inspiring to do her work of journalism or novelist. Jane really adventures to remain alone in this entire movie. It was very heartbreaking to see that she didn't get what she wanted, like in her love aspect of life, but she did get the writing aspect of her life. Many people was inspired by her and her works. I think this Jane, because it's played by Anne Hathaway, is quite remarkable. It's refreshing and it's very classy. Um, there's many people who played Jane. Jane was very shy most of the time, but in this, Jane is not very shy. Jane is very outspoken, very creative, very herself, and is willing to do whatever, despite embarrassment, despite ridicule, despite what people may say, so she can achieve her goals. People was planning to enforce marriage upon her to push her from being super creative, which I'm glad she escaped from marriage. Escaped from two marriages actually. One being that her cousin that would inherit the estate, um, men being the ones who, like I said, have power back then, only had the ability to own properties and take over the estate and whatever properties they've had. Men only had the power back then. So I'm glad she escaped such marriages, one being with her own cousin and someone she did not love, and just for money. She's not a sellout, of course. The second one being with a man that she did love. She never sell herself short. She never married or got in a relationship after that. But the thing about that is, I'm actually glad she escaped that, because the man that she was in love with married the other woman for money. I'm sure, because he was penniless, man. For him to be marrying somebody else for their fortune, to get himself up in a step of a ladder, I thought he did it for the fortune. I thought he did it to help himself to establish in society, which pretty much was betrayal in my mind. But that's just me. Becoming Jane is pretty great. It's a different sort of society that no longer exists that much. It exists in a society of 2021, but not like it used to. It's not the way we court. It's not the way we, date, or it's not the way that we communicate these days. So it's definitely different.